So in our movie, we've decided to make some interviews about the working classes, and we're introducing the 4 different classes that are ruling class, upper class, middle class, and working class. And that's what you're going to see in this movie, that we have presented the different classes to different people, and then they're going to explain what's going to happen.
During the Victorian time, Britain was the most powerful nation. Though not always effortlessly, it was able to maintain a world order which rarely threatened Britain's wider strategic interests. The Victorian time consisted of 4 classes, which we will tell you more about later. It was a hard time, especially for the working class, since a lot of women had to be prostitutes to earn money because the men had most of the jobs, and many suffered from poverty. But it also had many good things. For example, the British Empire grew, the global industrial power.
We are here today to talk about the Victorian times, and I'm going to ask the UK population some different questions. Today we have with me Victoria. And how old are you?
I'm 25.
And can you tell me a bit about the working class in the Victorian times?
Yes, the working class consists of a lot of working people, and it was often a hard time because they were trying to provide for their family and often didn't have enough money to buy food and other personal stuff to try to have a normal day. So they would often only have money to provide for their family.
Thank you, Victoria.
So the next is
Catherine.
And how old are you?
I'm 19.
Okay, so how was the conditions during the Victorian times for the middle class?
They were in between the upper class and the working class, and they didn't have a lot. They did have money, but they weren't really rich, and they still had to work, but they did have money, and they were willing. They could let their kids live in separate bedrooms, and they had an understanding for stuff like politics, but they weren't rich and wasn't seen like the really upper class and the ones you look up to and stuff like that.
So now we have
Marie.
And how old are you?
I'm 38.
So do you want to tell me about how the conditions were for the upper class during the Victorian time?
Yes, the upper class was one of the best classes, and they had a really high hierarchy. It mostly consists of royal family and doctors and people who had a big role for the society in general. So they had a lot of money, and it was easy for them to have a working day, and their kids could have an education, and they had food and clothes and all the stuff that the working class, for example, didn't have money to do. And then we have
Elizabeth.
And how old are you?
I'm 26.
Can you tell me something about the ruling class in the Victorian time?
Yeah, they were the ones who ruled the political agenda, so they were kind of placed like the upper class. They had the same amount of money and respect in the society, I would say, but they did have much more power than, for example, the royal family, because they ruled all the political that went on in the country.
Yes, thank you.